Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast, everyone. This is day 11 of the Advent Calendar Spectacular Brew Crew podcast. Got to get that in. Can't forget the name of the podcast. Day 11, we see today Tripping Animals, collaboration with The Answer Brewpub out of Richmond, Virginia, and Tripping Animals is out of Doral, Florida. But we'll get to that. This is Triple Tropical Popsicle, a sour ale conditioned with mango, papaya, pineapple, and blood orange.
Very interesting.
Conditioned with.
Conditioned.
That's a word.
Conditioned.
That's a word we haven't mentioned.
That's correct, and I'm interested in finding out what they mean by conditioned.
Usually
it certainly sounds like certainly some. Oh,
yeah. I don't know if we do or not. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, we could end up all over the ceiling.
Yeah, maybe.
This will be certainly different than anything that we've had yet to this point.
So far, yeah.
So nothing tropical like this. Mango,
yeah, this is very
pineapple, yeah.
So looking forward to this. Been looking forward to this. Last year's surprise beer of the Advent Calendar was Tripping Animals Coffee Sour.
That's right, I remember.
Unbelievable beer, very good. I remember my office was in the house still. Ready for this?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Perfect crack on that. Tripping Animals, I remember finding them immensely interesting because they came from Venezuela. They've taken their talents to Florida, Doral, Florida, but they come from Venezuela, which is an interesting thing. Like you okay, there's probably breweries in Venezuela. There's probably breweries in some of these like lesser affluent third I don't know, the third world, second world socialist countries where I don't know. I think that Venezuela is like verging, like they're called socialists, but there's a lot of kind of, dictatorship kind of stuff going on there where the laws might prevent you from having the freedoms to do things like brew beer, especially brew accessible beer, like distribute and stuff like that. I don't know. I've never been to Venezuela. I don't know what that barrier is, the barrier of entry to starting a business in Venezuela. I'm sure it's not impossible. There's businesses in Venezuela. I just don't know what it's like. But I found that interesting. But anyway,
if you're looking at, if you're a beer maker anywhere in the world and you're looking at, and you're moving up as far as your reputation goes, and you're moving up in terms of your skills and your experience and your reach, there's really only two markets that you can go to that are sufficiently large enough to be able to expand into, and the United States is the biggest. And the other big market is Europe and, Russia from an alcohol perspective, not beer per se, but Europe and America. And America dwarfs Europe in terms of beer production and beer consumption. So I know there's a lot of other great countries that make beer, Australia, New Zealand, England for sure, lots of others, but their market is dwarfed by the size of the overall U.S. beer market. So it makes sense from that perspective.
It does.
Wow, this is really good.
Yeah, this is also a collaboration with The Answer, which is a brew pub out of Richmond, Virginia. I lived in Virginia for a little while. Not Richmond, though. Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Navy areas. This is a family-owned brew pub. It's actually a Vietnamese eatery, which sounds interesting because we don't have very many of those. Wow. I'm sure it definitely is flourishing in Richmond, Virginia, seeing as the diversity of, that's a global population in Virginia right there. So, I don't know about, like, Richmond, how far is that from D.C.?
It's very close. It's only, 2.5, 3 hours away, something like that.
Okay, so you'll get decent, runoff of D.C. diversity into Richmond. I'm not sure. Oh, man. Anyway, the owner loves beer, so Vietnamese restaurant plus brew pub. It has 56 taps, 2 bars, and a stage. This place sounds huge.
And Vietnamese food.
And Vietnamese food. The answer
Wow.
has become another means for continuous vision. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure much else about the answer, but I know that Tripping Animals is an interesting place. They make interesting beer, innovation, stuff like that. All right, I need a few more sips of this before I really know my feelings on it. You want to talk about it?
Sure. This is a really interesting one. It's 6%. Did you mention that?
I didn't mention that.
6%.
Sour ale.
So, not a light beer, but not anything heavy. It's certainly not. Although they tout this as a smoothie beer, it's not nearly as thick. Yeah, they do. But it's not nearly as thick and viscous as the smoothie that we had, Yacht Squatch, certainly. And even the one that we had after that, that we liked so well, the mixed berry one, seemed thicker and more viscous than this. Although this is definitely.
Where do you see that it's a smoothie beer?
Oh, it was on the notes that were that were posted.
Oh,
so,
all right.
Yeah. So it does have smoothie qualities to it. It's certainly a tropical smoothie. You get all of those flavors: mango, pineapple, papaya, blood orange. I'm tasting all of those, and but they're not outrageous. They're not really super tart, and by the same token, it's not super overwhelming. And not that slushy, thick, smoothie with pulp kind of a viscous feeling to it. So it's well balanced. There's more carbonation in this one I'm tasting than the last two I think that we had.
Yeah, I think so.
And the balance is really good. Hops, look at that color. Wow.
It's got a very mango orange juice.
Mango orange juice. Yeah, it totally does. And it tastes every bit of it. Look at that head too.
Look at that head.
Wow. Very creamy, very thick. Wow. So this is a really interesting beer. It just kind of defies categories, and I like it. It is a sour, but it's not. I keep finding myself saying this more and more. It's not overtly sour. It's not so sour that it's puckery. It's got a really smooth, fruit-infused flavor to it. I'm still not sure what that conditioned means, but because it's pretty much brewed with fruit in it, so
it's conditioned with.
Conditioned, I guess. Yeah. Very good. I'm liking it. I'm really liking it a lot. This is probably one of the best sours I've had all year.
Sweet. Wow. That's great.
Oh yeah. This is.
Excellent.
All right, I'm going to go out there. 4.5.
He's already got a score. 4.5. That's awesome.
From 4.5.
I've got a score in mind. I'm awful.
4.5 from SFIL.
No influence. That's great.
On a sour.
That's a very good score on this.
That's how good I think this beer is. There's a lot to that, and it's just the smoothness, the balance of it, the fruit infusion of it. It's got when I think of a beer, I tend to think of it. I'm of a different generation, and we tend to think of these things in a more classical, traditional way. And there are very few kind of beer attributes to this. There's very little hop character to this. There's no hop bitterness or hop bite to this whatsoever. There's some malty sweetness for sure, but you don't taste the malt per se. You taste the sweetness, but you really get the sweetness in the fruit. So it's a very different kind of a thing. And to John, I'm sure, and Matt, this is probably that's pretty much what a sour is, But for me, coming to sours is only something that's happened in my life in the last year or so, maybe a little bit more than a year. But that's pretty much it. So I'm really digging this beer. 4.5.
Awesome. All right. This is the Can Art Boner segment brought to you by Barrel House and Chuggalo Todd. This is an opossum, right?
Yes.
And he's hanging upside down, which is unusual. I think they do that?
Yes.
They hang from their tails.
Yeah,
but you don't normally see it. That's a thing. That's a thing that we're told they do from trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
But where have you ever seen that?
I've seen them.
You've seen it?
In Minnesota, we had possums, and I lived in a woods.
Oh, we have them here, but they hide.
Yeah.
And they eat your
They're
garbage.
also ground animals,
they're
too.
Garbage eaters.
They are. They're nasty little buggers.
Oh, yeah.
You corner them, and my cat. I had a cat when I lived in Orange County in California many years ago. I had a cat who was a Manx. Manxes are cats that are a cross between a cat and a bobcat. They don't have a tail like a bobcat, and they're a big-ass cat. They're
no shit. Are they mean?
No, he was just gentle and mild. He
and that cross with bobcat?
Yeah, but when he got cornered, like he was, we were gone. We were gone one day, and we came home, and we left the screen door, we left the patio door open, but the screen door shut. And we came home, and we couldn't find the cats. And the screen door had been blown out from the inside out. And we thought, oh my gosh, an intruder came, So we were looking all over for the cats. We found the cat, and our one cat was a little regular California brown, and he was off hiding somewhere. But the Manx, he was injured, and he had a giant bite taken out of his side that was V-shaped, like that, which is the snout of a possum.
Yeah.
He had gotten a possum. We knew that there was a possum that was running along the fence lines between the houses in the tract that we lived in, and Chopin, the neighbor of our cat, he went out there to go confront him and got in a fight with him. And the possum's bigger than the cat, but that cat was tough, man. He was a bobcat, Right. And he went after him, and he got bit. We ended up putting a shunt in him to drain it and all that stuff. He ended up being okay.
Oh, that's good.
But
I thought that was going in a different direction.
No, but anyway, so possums, they do hide in the ground and stuff. I mean, I never saw one in a tree in California, but there's not that many trees. But in Minnesota we did. Yeah.
Nice. I've never seen one in a tree. I've seen tons of them though here in Ohio. A lot of dead ones, whether they're playing dead or are dead. They're dead. They're gonna be dead if they're not. Don't play dead. Just get up.
Play dead.
Be a man. Get up. Run away.
That's a code for life. Don't play dead.
Don't play dead.
No.
That's even bad advice from what I understand. That's even terrible advice on grizzly bears, which for a long time they thought play dead.
Yeah, that's what I know.
But actually, it's make yourself as large as possible, make a lot of noise. As soon as that bear turns around and isn't looking at you, run.
Run like hell, yeah.
And you're still not gonna run. A grizzly bear, even at their weight, can run like crazy, like 30 miles an hour or something.
Yeah, like for short distances, they can way outrun us.
Get you. And anyway, so that's the opossum. And there's also this popsicle in here, which is a triple tropical popsicle, probably.
Triple tropical, yeah.
And it's being floated around in there. There's also this Twilight Zone kind of background going on there, which is interesting. And that's that. So that's the Cat Art Runner segment. That's pretty interesting. Very well done possum. It's mean looking, hanging upside down. On to the beer. I'm personally struggling to find a few things in this. The popsicle, I'm not seeing it there. This is by all accounts, this is probably a smoothie sour. It's thick enough. It's not as thick as a 450, but it's thick enough. It's got enough fruit ingredients. It's sweet enough. When I think of popsicles, there's gonna be like Matt talks about fake fruit all the time, but popsicles typically have this sugary juice that is not defined by what fruit it's come from. Like fruit punch or some like made up bullshit like blue Kool-Aid. It's not even a fruit. It's just a color.
Yeah, blue raspberry. Like you've never seen a blue raspberry. Right.
There's something missing from this that makes it a popsicle. So that is a disappointment for me because we have had I've had a seltzer that was the red, white, and blue popsicle, the very famous popsicle.
Yeah.
And that was unbelievable, like almost unbeatable by seltzer standards. Probably the best I've ever had.
Wow.
And probably the best I ever will, because I'm not really a seltzer.
Did it taste like the red wine?
Yeah, it tasted like the red wine.
Did it really? Wow.
Hardly a hint of alcohol at all.
Wow.
I couldn't even taste it. This to me tastes like a smoothie sour. I'm struggling to find like its exact identity on the tongue. I think on the breath it's pineapple. I think that's pretty clear. The mango, I struggle with mango. I don't like mango. I don't like the taste of it, and I feel like if you can hide it in a beer, that's good. In this case, I agree it's good because I don't like it, but I think that because of what this beer is, it's this fruited sour, that all the fruit should be present. For me, I don't taste the mango. I taste everything else pretty well. It's actually really well done. Not sour at all. Probably the least sour I've had in a long time. Whereas sometimes we're like, oh, this isn't sour enough. This one's just not sour to me at all. Which is why I think you should still, at least on the can, it sounds like it was identified as a smoothie sour. I didn't see it on the can.
Yeah, it was on the can. I think when the Barrel House picked it out, they put that in the notes.
Yeah.
And so I saw that in parentheses after the name of it.
Interesting.
Smoothie sour.
I like that there's a little hint of carbonation in this. It kind of reminds me of like
yeah.
what does it remind me of? It's not a mimosa. It's like the pineapple version of that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. It's just spritzer and pineapple. It's really good actually. I think that's a nice touch on this drink. So that's a positive. I do want more sour. I think this beer probably blends in with the crowd, and that's crazy because I like Tripping Animals. We've been really talking about Tripping Animals off camera and even probably on camera. Oh man, what do I give this beer? I think it's fine. I don't have any issues with this beer's taste, but I also don't think that this excels in the areas where I want it to. But it's not a bad beer at all. I'm going 3.5 on this one. And it's mostly just because of what it's not in it. I don't know if that's fair to them, but it's a good beer. It's just not great. I don't think I'll remember this beer.
That's interesting,
Yeah.
and that's fair because you're a sour drinker, and you drink.
True, I do drink a lot of sours.
And you drank a lot more than me, and you certainly know the range and the domain of sours from end to end. I don't. And I don't particularly like a sour that's really sour, real puckery sour. I like a more mild sour because I'm whippy that way. But this kind of fits that bill for me. And I like the carbonation in it too because it reminds me of like a seltzer, but with a tropical flavor to it. It's not really something you get anywhere else.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's not like you don't find a tropical soda out there, for example, that has these flavors.
Yeah,
but with carbonation, you don't find like I used to love those. What are those things? Real pulpy mango, papaya. They had all those different flavors. They were like a fruit juice kind of a drink in a can. Darn it! I'm not
like a V8 Splash or something?
No, it was. It's one. It's escaping me right now. There was one maker of them that makes these nectars, mango nectars, papaya nectars. Those things, they come in a can. It looks like a soda, but it's not.
I see.
No, it's not that.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know. He'll think of it, but
but that's really not it because they don't have carbonation in there. It's just a really, it's refreshing to me. Even though it's sweet, it's pretty refreshing to me, and it's easy to drink, and it's unique. I'll remember it because I've never had anything like this before. So, anyway, that's why I liked it.
Yeah, I think that the one positive here is that, like, a lot of people try to do a berry sour, and most of the berry sours wind up being very similar. They're actually too similar. Yeah. Not almost too similar. They are too similar. And it just winds up, like, in my mind, that taste has become kind of just like, what does a sour taste like? So anything that amplifies that is now getting a better score because that's just base sour. This does do some different things. I like that.
Yeah.
Just I think that this is great for someone who's like, I think I am interested in sours now, and now you can continue to be interested in them.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, and I liked your point about. I think it is a differentiation between your typical berry sour because they do start. I mean, even though Yacht Squatch was much thicker than what was the other one we had? Sort of that was 450, right? Or no?
450.
So, but that was mixed berry also. So
Yeah.
you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that same similarity of flavor, but this is of course very different. So
Very different, but delicious.
yep.
No negatives really. That's it. That's day 11.
That's day 11.
Yep.
And we got 6 days.
Next weekend we're doing it. We're doing it.
6 days.
A group episode.
Yep.
No, Matt did a group episode with his buddies. I thought that was great. Nice precursor. We will not keep ours to 30 minutes. We're gonna just go. If you have stuff to talk about it. You know.
Is it going to be? I don't know if the format's a surprise or not, but
No.
last year there were people brought a lot of different beers. And you remember that?
No.
Oh yeah. There were some stinkers that got thrown in the mix, and there were some really great beers thrown in the mix. But we didn't have just one beer. We had that showcase beer that was meant for the day.
Yeah.
But Matt brought a whole cooler full of a bunch of different beers that he picked out.
Yeah, a bunch over there from the 200th episode too.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting. It'll be a fun afternoon, and looking forward to seeing everybody there.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. And every day we're posting more videos. This is the Advent Calendar. It's awesome. I'm loving it.
3-5 and a 4-5.
I'm loving it.
Day 11. Chowder.